Part 78. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi-Sing Cao. Chapter 773. 771. Kui Hong saw that his niece and Huashan both said so. If he was hesitant, he would look petty. Brother, I agree, Kui Hong said. If we lose this opportunity, our Xiaoao sect may really disappear in 100 years. Seeing that everyone agreed after thinking about it, Kui Yang nodded and said, okay, then I agree. You go back first, and I will practice first. As long as you get started, Huo Yingzhe will receive my answer. Okay, the three of them agreed together. After saying this, it was already 4 o'clock in the morning. Kui Hong, Kui Ying, and Huashan chose to withdraw in order not to disturb Kui Yang's cultivation. However, they did not go back, but protected the law outside the house, not wanting anything to interfere with Kui Yang. Until 6 o'clock in the morning, the sun rises. Kui Yang opened his eyes and felt refreshed. He had received Huo Yingzhe's reply. With the skills, Kui Yang felt that he had truly entered the world and felt an unprecedented world. It was a feeling and a state. Kui Yang came out of the room and said, brother, you go to practice in the house, don't use your own understanding, just follow the steps above. I will protect you outside. As for Ying, Huashan, you can get some food, yes, then you go to work. As for how to resign from the unit in a reasonable way, you have to figure it out yourself. You must make He Tian believe that you are desperate and need her help, and in order to repay her, promise that you will be loyal. Yes, father. Yes, master. Everything they do is, on the one hand, to experience the world of mortals, and on the other hand, for cultivation. Now I can take care of both, which is great. Kui Ying, Huashan felt energetic even if she didn't sleep all night. She made breakfast and went to work after eating. On the way, the two of them were thinking, how can they resign from the museum? Huashan majored in archaeology and works in a museum, which is very suitable for him. If the reason is simple, He Tian is so smart, he may not believe it. As for Kui Ying, it was easy to handle. She said that the job there was boring and she wanted to resign and come over to work for He Tian to make more money. How about I break something valuable and let them fire me? Huashan came up with another bad idea. After Kui Ying heard this, she smiled and said, okay, those things are very precious, we can't break them randomly. There should be other ways, let's continue to think about it. The two of them walked along, thinking about it but denying it one by one. At this time, shouts came from a small alley near the museum. The Suan stove of the Ming dynasty, the enamel bottle of the Qing dynasty, the snuff bottle of Yongzheng, the paintings of Zheng Banqiao. Huashan was stunned for a moment, then thought of a good idea and said, Kui Ying, do you think this is a good idea? Let's find He Tian to invest and open an antique shop. We will contribute our efforts and some money to open a shop together. In this way, we can have a good time. Helping He Tian do things, and it's consistent with my major. Kui Ying thought about it and said, your idea is very good, but Tian is in the food business, and I don't know if she is willing to do the antique business. What if she is not willing? Huashan smiled and said, don't think that He Tian is the same as her appearance. She looks like a harmless little sheep. In fact, she is smart. Think about it, there are so many smart people in Kijia village. Why? Why is Tian so successful? After going to college, she can still open a store and make money to buy a house. This is something that others dare not do, which shows her courage. You are right, Kui Ying nodded, He Tian is indeed very smart. Furthermore, gold in troubled times and antiques in prosperous times. Now with the reform and opening up, everyone's life is better and we have money, and the antique industry will prosper. At the same time, my uncle and I are both majoring in archaeology and know a lot about antiques. At the very least, we can guarantee that we won't receive fake goods. As long as we work hard, we can definitely make a lot of money, Huashan said, very confident in this idea. Kui Ying thought for a while, nodded and said, well, compared to the others, this one is more reliable. Let's make a tentative decision and then think about the others. If we don't have a good idea, we will find He Tian Tian to open an antique store in partnership. Yeah, okay, Huashan agreed. At work that day, both Kui Ying and Huashan were a little absent-minded, but the work in the museum was relatively leisurely, and the leaders didn't say anything. After getting off work in the evening, the two went home directly. Kui Ying told her father about Huashan's plan. Well, you can go to He Tianatian's shop to help. Going to Huashan is a bit far-fetched. It's indeed a good idea to visit the antique shop. Kui Yang nodded, but you are a bit eager for quick success, and quick success when you find He Tian Tian to cooperate alone. Before looking for He Tian Tian, you should also ask Huang Jingli and Qin Li if they are willing to go to He Tian Tian. She will definitely not refuse. Yes, but you also have to make a decision. You are the operator. Those people only have the right to dividends and no management rights, but they can send people to supervise the management. Kui Hong said, you can think of the specific details yourself. Be sure to it was done very naturally. Yes, father. Yes, master. With the support of her father and uncle, Kui Ying was very excited. She looked at Huashan and said, senior brother, you are the best and you can think of such a good idea. Actually, I was inspired by the vendor selling handicrafts, Huashan said, feeling a little embarrassed when his junior sister looked at him with such eyes. I heard it too, but I didn't think about it. Kui Ying said, senior brother is still awesome. Okay, don't be tired, hurry up and cook. Kui Hong saw that the two of them were tired, which was a bit unpleasant. Girls are outgoing, and once they get married, they only see men. Kui Yang smiled and said, that's good. The two of us have a good relationship and can inherit our mantle. At the same time, they can also grow old together without leaving each other behind and passing away first. People live a long life and feel very lonely if they don't have companions. Kui Yang understands this deeply. Even though his wife has only been away from him for less than 10 years, he misses her very much every day. He has brothers, a daughter, and an apprentice, but the softest place in his heart is still his wife. There are some things that you cannot say to other people, but you can say them to your wife. However, this person no longer exists in the world. In the evening, Kui Yang and Kui Hong were discussing, complementing each other's strengths and weaknesses, and making a lot of progress. In Huashan, Kui Ying started practicing until midnight before going back to rest. After Huo Yingjie dealt with this matter, he was relieved. These people would not threaten his wife in the future, let alone visit their yard in the middle of the night. It would be great if it could stay like this. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 774. Kui Ying and Huashan asked Huang Jingli and Qin Li to talk to them about the antique business. Wu Yaoliang's parents are in business. Why do Tianatian's Sanfan Kiao braised meat shop provide the main raw materials and make a lot of money this year? As living standards get better and better, even if they are placed in the bank, they will depreciate. It's more cost-effective to go out and do business. Yaoliang, should we do this business? Huang Jingli hesitated. Wu Yaoliang thought for a while and said, Wu Yaoliang said that an investment of 100,000 yuan is enough. We have 20,000 yuan at home, invest it, take 20%, and get dividends in the future. Besides making money, my family has been supplying goods to Sanfan Kiao. The family doesn't lack the money. If you open an antique shop in Huashan, you won't buy fakes at least, so it should be reliable. In fact, Huang Jingli also agrees with her husband's views. Now, it is precisely because of doing business with He Tian Tian that the family has made money and is living a prosperous life. How could she and Wu Yaliang live such a decent life based on their dead wages? Then you agree, Huang Jingli asked, how about I ask Tian Tian if she is willing to invest? Wu Yaliang smiled and said, the relationship between Kui Ying and He Tian Tian is worse than with us. Huashan and Kui Ying will also go to He Tian Tian. How about this, let's take a look first, and if He Tian Tian is willing, we will invest. Ye Huang Jingli nodded, then we'll wait. After Qin Li got Kui Ying's words, she went back and talked to her family. She took 10,000 yuan directly and said, our whole family works in the government department. According to regulations, we are not allowed to do business. Since we can have such a good job, investment opportunity, I must try it. Aren't you afraid of losing money? Huang Jingli asked. Doing business is risky, I have to remind you. Qin Li smiled and said, I'm not afraid. If the shop can't be opened, at least there are still things. With the abilities of Huashan and your uncle, they will definitely not receive fake goods. I'm very relieved. Qin Li is very shrewd and has already thought of the key to the problem. Finally, Kui Ying made an appointment with Qin Li and Huang Jingli to go to He Tianatian's home. Tian Tian, my family wants to open an antique store. You know, my uncle and Huashan are all studying these things, so they can definitely do well. Huang Jingli said, are you interested? He Tian Tian looked at the other two friends in front of her and asked, are you two interested too? I'm interested. I have some spare money, and I can't make money at home. Especially now that I'm watching other people doing business and making money, and I can't let go of my current job, it's most appropriate to partner with others. Qin Li explained. He said, besides, Huashan and Professor Kui are professionals and will not receive fake things. I trust them. That's right. He Tiandian nodded. Sister Jingli, do you want it too? I think so too. Tian Tian, do you think it's profitable? Huang Jingli asked. If He Tian Tian said yes, she could make a decision immediately. He Tian Tian thought for a while and said, gold in troubled times and antiques in prosperous times should be able to make money. Okay, I have some money in hand and can invest in it, but how much money do I need to invest? Kui Ying followed what she had discussed with her family before and said, 100,000 yuan, Qin Li can contribute 10,000, Jingli can contribute 20,000, my family can contribute 20,000, and you contribute the remaining 50,000, accounting for 50% of the shares. 20% for pairs, 10% for Qin Li, and 20% for my family. What do you think? We are all laymen, and we don't have time, so it can only be run by your family, right? He Tian Tian asked. If this is the case, only giving Kui Ying Huashan 20% is a bit too little. After all, they have contributed. Yes, it is mainly run by brother Huashan, and my uncle will also help. Kui Ying said, but you can send someone to supervise brother Huashan's management. He Tian Tian nodded, thought for a while, and said, this is unfair to you. Let's see, the proportion of money is still the same, but I will contribute 50,000 for 40%, your family will contribute 20,000, and there will be someone to manage it, and the appraisal will account for 30%. He Tian Tian gave up her shares. She didn't like taking the share. Others are cheaper. Huang Jingli was stunned for a moment, and then she understood what was going on. She nodded and said, yes, Kui Ying, you have a family member and money. According to the previous distribution, it is indeed a bit unreasonable. Tianatian's suggestion is better, but Tian Tian can't give out the money for the 10% of the shares. How about this, Qin Li, your family and I will each give 3,000 yuan to Tian Tian to compensate for the 10% of the shares that Tian Tian gave up. Just treat it as the three of us together. Give it to Kui Ying. Qin Li heard that it was quite reasonable and nodded. Well, if you think about it, we still took advantage of Tian Tian by hundreds of yuan. Huang Jingli smiled and said, she is rich, let me take advantage of it, and I won't be poor. Isn't this bad? Kui Ying was a little embarrassed. That's it, He Tian said, I'm not polite to you either. Making money from business is one thing, but you can't let money hurt your friendship. That's right, Huang Jingli said, the store will be managed by Huashan. We believe in you. Work hard, and my sister will wait for Huashan to make more money for me. Yes, Qin Li said, I feel excited just thinking about it. Kui Ying, you go back and ask Huashan to prepare 4 contracts. We each have one, signed and stamped. It cannot be changed in the future. Everything will be done in accordance with the rules of the business, He Tian reminded, don't blame me for being so rude. Before doing business, you should be a villain first, then a gentleman. If everyone has said it before, there won't be too many conflicts in the future. Okay, I'll do it when I get back. I promise to make money for you, Kui Ying said with a smile, but she didn't expect the task to be completed so quickly. After the 3 of them had eaten, Kui Ying couldn't wait to leave. He Tian was also very happy. She didn't expect that in addition to buying a yard and opening a braised meat shop, she could also open an elegant antique shop. Huo Yingzhi saw He Tian humming a song and looking at the account book, and asked curiously, is there anything happy about you? Guess, He Tian raised her head, do you and I have a tacit understanding? Huo Yingzhi thought for a moment and asked, am I more handsome? Bah, He Tian said angrily, that's not the case. Just tell me, I couldn't guess right. Huo Yingzhi smiled and sat next to He Tian. He Tian told Huo Yingzhi about Kui Ying coming over today to open an antique shop in partnership. Huo Yingzhi understood. It seemed that Huashan, Kui Ying, and others had already started taking action. This is a good entry point. Huo Yingzhi was looking forward to it. With Huashan, Kui Ying, and the others protecting Tian, the children, Huo Yingzhi can feel more at ease. It was just that he was leaving in a few days, so he couldn't check it out, but Huo Yingzhi knew the situation and wasn't worried. Recommended by my friend Dao Bao Bushan's rebirth of the 80-old counter-attack plan. Zhang Yuehua returns to the age of 18. She never wants to experience the tragic life of being widowed in her previous life and being driven crazy. She brutally tortures those best and achieves a counter-attack in life. Pozi, the house must be there, and that arrogant and handsome military guy, come to the bowl quickly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 775. 773. Finally, before Huo Yingzhi left, Huashan got the contract, everyone signed the contract, and then gave the money to Huashan and asked him to open the store as soon as possible. Facing He Tian, Huashan's mood changed a little. Even if they are not slaves of the Huo family, they are equivalent to the bodyguards hired by Huo Yingzhi. Although the form of bodyguard protection is somewhat different. Thank you for trusting me. I will work hard to make money for you, Huashan said. He is more optimistic about this aspect of business, and with his mind, he will definitely be able to help everyone make money. It's all up to you from now on, He Tian said, but don't be too nervous. Doing business is not easy at the beginning. Take your time. Yes, you can just make up your own mind. Qin Li said that with the money, she would also have a shop. Furthermore, she could also have more contact with He Tian to improve their relationship. Huang Jingli was the most direct, saying, if there are any difficulties, don't hold on alone. After all, everyone invests together. If there are difficulties, everyone will solve them together. Yes, I will. Huashan smiled, I have already chosen the place. It is not far from Sanfan Bridge. There are several shops there, which is very suitable. Are you referring to the north side? He Tian asked. There are many shops selling the 4 treasures of the study there, as well as many antique shops, and there are also stalls outside to buy handicrafts. Huashan nodded and said, yes, that's where it is. Anyone who likes antiques will go there. You know better than us, just make your decision. He Tian smiled and said, if it is opened there and managed by Huashan, it will not be bad. Seeing He Tian being like this, Huo Yingzhi smiled and said, this is a good investment, you don't have to worry. I'm not worried, He Tian said with a smile, it's just a matter of earning more or less. You are leaving tomorrow. I have already packed up the gifts for you. Go to the work and take care of yourself. Yeah, Huo Yingzhi nodded, I'll leave the house to you. We are husband and wife, He Tian said, don't say these words. Everything is very smooth inside and out now. You don't have to worry when you get outside. Huo Yingzhi said, looking at He Tian's fair little face, he reached out and touched it. He Tian was reluctant to leave Huo Yingzhi, but she was used to this kind of separation. Two slender arms hugged Huo Yingzhi tightly, hoping to retain the warmth on Huo Yingzhi's body. At this time, words have become very pale and weak. Only the love in each other's hearts can express the current enthusiasm. Love each other and cherish each other. The next day, when He Tian woke up, Huo Yingzhi, Zhang Aijun, and Yunfan had already left. There are fewer people in the house and it becomes a lot more deserted. However, having two children around can always make the house lively in the shortest possible time. School starts in a few days, and He Tian follows the previous notice and comes to study a few days in advance. Even after not coming to school for a summer vacation, the trees in the school are still so green and beautiful. He Tian was an intern last semester, and now she is the head teacher of the new class. She wants to come to study, have meetings, and then receive information about welcoming new students. After arriving at school, he saw the notice in the office that He Tian became the homeroom counselor of Class 1 of the Chinese department of grade 80. There were a total of 28 students in the class, including 16 girls and 12 boys. Their dormitories and daily necessities have been arranged by the logistics staff. He Tian visited the dormitory. If there were any unclean places, or if there were broken beds, tables, chairs, or benches, he would tally them up and hand them over to the logistics department so they could repair them as soon as possible. In order for students to have a relatively good environment after reporting, He Tian carefully inspected and reported broken things and unsanitary areas. Zhang Mengmeng happened to come to school and wanted to deliver something to the dormitory. When she saw He Tian, she said in surprise, "Teacher He, hello." "Hello Zhang Mengmeng," He Tian smiled and said, "Is your harvest this summer okay?" "Yeah, very good. I will still go to work in the evenings from now on," Zhang Mengmeng said. "With this job, the difficulties at home can be solved, and I can go to school with peace of mind. By the way, Teacher He, in the future you will also take our class." He Tian shook her head and said, "It's a pity that I can't continue to teach your class. My internship period has ended. After school starts, I will lead the first class of the 80 grade Chinese department." "What a pity," Zhang Mengmeng said regretfully, "but Teacher He will always be my teacher and benefactor." "Haha, you don't need to say it so solemnly, I can't bear it," He Tian said, "although I can't take you, I believe you will study hard and have a good future in the future." Thinking that teachers must be very busy when school starts, and they officially start classes the day after registration, she can find a few classmates to help Teacher He receive new students who come to report. "Teacher He, the day after tomorrow is the day after tomorrow for the new students to register, so you will be very busy. It just so happens that tomorrow some students will come to school one after another. I will find a few classmates to welcome the new students who have registered for you." "Okay," Zhang Mengmeng said. All this time, she accepted Teacher He's help and wanted to find an opportunity to thank the teacher. Now is a good opportunity. This is very hard." He Tian was moved. If there were sophomores to help, it would be twice the result with half the effort. Because of the hard work, we have to come to help. Zhang Mengmeng said, "Teacher, don't worry, we will be waiting for you in your office the day after tomorrow." Since Zhang Mengmeng said so, He Tian accepted it and nodded, saying, "Okay, after the registration is over, the teacher will treat you to a meal." "Okay, thank you first, teacher." Zhang Mengmeng said, "Teacher, I'll go back to the dormitory to pack up first, and I have to go to the night class tonight." "Okay, go." He Tian nodded, feeling happy. The day after tomorrow, He Tian can breathe a sigh of relief. Finally, the day of registration for the start of school has arrived. Zhang Mengmeng found 6 or 7 classmates in the class to come and help. When He Tian arrived, Zhang Mengmeng and others were already waiting there. "Good morning, classmates." He Tian smiled, "Thank you for coming to help." "Teacher." "Good morning." Zhang Mengmeng said, "Anyway, we have nothing to do, come to help, teacher." "He treats you to a meal, why not?" "Okay," He Tian nodded, "teacher is not stingy." "Come, let's assign the work first." After a few minutes of talking, everyone carried the table and went to the registration place near the gate. Because they came early, they occupied a good position under a big tree. In the morning, there was dew, so maybe this wasn't a good place, but at noon, it was definitely the best place, with big trees providing shade and it was cool. He Tian was very satisfied and said, "Okay, this is a good place. By the way, did you have breakfast?" "Yes." "No." The students had different answers. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 776. 774. After hearing this, He Tian smiled, took out 20 yuan from her crossbody bag, handed it to Zhang Mengmeng and said, "Classmate Zhang Mengmeng, please go buy some breakfast for everyone. There is a table here, just right for breakfast." "No need," Zhang Mengmeng said. Before they even started working, they asked teacher He to treat these unpromising classmates to dinner. He Tian smiled and said nonchalantly, "Okay, the emperor still needs hungry soldiers. Go and buy it. Only when you have enough food can you have the strength to work." He Tian is a good teacher, how can he let his students go hungry? Zhang Mengmeng nodded and said, "I'll buy it right away." There is a back street in front of the school, where there are many vendors selling snacks and breakfast. He Tian looked at her watch and said, "It's still early, I guess no one will come to sign up. You guys should go to dinner together, so as not to bring over food, not drink, and get choked." "Okay then." Zhang Mengmeng left with a few classmates. About half an hour later, Zhang Mengmeng came with his classmates. At this time, there was a new student with luggage who was checking in front of He Tian's desk. He happened to be in teacher He's class. "This is a boy." Zhang Mengmeng assigned the male student to take him to get quilts and toiletries, and then sent him to the dormitory. Along the way, he would introduce the students to the buildings in the school and the necessary knowledge for freshmen. Send the student to the dormitory, let him live in the designated bed, and finally explain that a class meeting will be held in class 801 of the Chinese department in building 3 at 6 o'clock in the evening. If you are a girl, ask a sophomore female classmate to bring you. He Tian had a few people to help her, and she was doing things in an orderly manner. The teachers from other departments nearby were very envious. If she had known better, they would have called a few students to help. The classmates were busy, but He Tian became the most leisurely person. The temperature is rising, and boys and girls are all red and sweaty from the sun. He Tian was very distressed. She went to the popsicle shop outside the school and bought 20 popsicles and distributed them to everyone to cool down the heat. At noon, He Tian directly ordered a table of food at the small restaurant outside and had it delivered directly to the registration desk. Everyone gathered around the table to eat together. Students spent a lot of money today. The meals he Tian bought contained a lot of meat and vegetables, which made the students eat very happily. Throughout the day, 28 new students were received. After settling in, he Tian took the students to have dinner again, and each of them got a box of Sanfan Kiao snacks. Today, apart from spending some money, he Tian didn't have to work too hard. All the work was done with the help of students. Meng Meng, you are very tired today, take your classmates back, he Tian said. After dinner, he Tian said goodbye to them. Okay, teacher he, let's go back first, Zhang Meng said, if anything happens in the future, you can come to us. As long as I can help, I will not refuse. Thank you, he Tian was moved and watched the students leave. He Tian tidied up and went to the class for a meeting. At the first meeting, everyone introduced each other. He Tian entered the classroom, and the originally noisy classroom became very quiet. Everyone must have known me when I checked in today. I am your class teacher, he Tian. You can call me teacher, he Tian said, and then wrote her name on the blackboard. Now everyone introduce yourselves. Let's get to know each other, and we can learn and make progress together in the future. After that, the first student at the edge of the class started to introduce himself. It took him more than half an hour to introduce himself. He Tian compared the names and memorized them carefully. Is there anyone who recommends himself to be a class coder now? He Tian said, but this class coder is temporary. After the military training is over, he will be re-elected. However, if the temporary class coder can serve everyone seriously and help, in the election I have great advantages as a class coder. At this time, a tall and beautiful girl from the northeast raised her hand and said, Teacher, my name is Yuan Hua. I come from the northeast. I would like to recommend myself to be the monitor of our class, and I would like to ask the teacher for approval. He Tian nodded and said, Okay, Yuan Hua will become the temporary monitor of our class. There are still a few vacancies on the blackboard. If you feel you are qualified, you can stand up. We are all young people and full of vigor, like 8 the sun at 9 o'clock must be as courageous as classmate Yuan Hua. He Tian wants to exercise students' abilities through this. He Tian has always remembered teacher Chen's words. University is a place that embraces all rivers. It is not only necessary to learn knowledge, but also to learn interpersonal skills and the ability to adapt to changes. After that, a few more students raised their hands, and he Tian agreed to her request one by one. Since it is temporary, there is not only one. If there are any other students who are willing to compete, you can tell us now, he Tian said. We can use the half-month of military training to find out more and then select the best candidate, the right class leader. He Tian's words gave the students below who were slow to stand up a glimmer of hope to stand up and say what position they were qualified for. Okay, in the future, class coders will be chosen among these students, he Tian said. If others still want to have a chance, they can wait until the sophomore class coder election. Maybe everyone will think this is unfair, but just now opportunities are placed in front of everyone equally, but some students have seized them, and some students are not even willing to try. On the first day of school, I don't want to dampen the enthusiasm of the students, but I just hope that through this small thing, I can tell everyone that in the future, no matter what you do, you must have courage. If you don't have courage and just rely on luck, your chances will be much less. When everyone heard the sweet-looking teacher he say such a shocking statement, they all thought about their own strengths and weaknesses, gains and losses. Military training will start tomorrow, Yuan Hua, you count the height and weight of the students, and hand it in tomorrow, and I will take you to get the clothes for military training, he Tian said. Everyone is tired from riding the bus, go back and rest early. Goodbye, teacher, the students said one after another. Even in summer, it was already 7:30 and it was dark. He Tian went to the office to pack up, then took her bag and rode her bicycle home. At the beginning of the school year, it was indeed a bit messy and a bit tiring, but it would be better in a few days. Back home, the two children, like two larks, told He Tian Tian about the interesting things of the day in their own language. Seeing the children, all the fatigue disappeared. Now that the children are older, just close the door and let the children play with the big turtle in the yard. In this way, Grandma Wang can have free time to cook. So He Tian Tian can eat as soon as she gets home. Grandma Wang really treats He Tian Tian as her own granddaughter-in-law and loves her dearly. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 777. 775. He Tian Tian was very moved when she saw the food prepared by Grandma Wang. "Thank you, Grandma Wang," He Tian Tian said. "Without you, Yingzhe and I are destined to make some sacrifices for our children. Now you help us take care of our children and take care of me. I am very touched." "Okay, I don't treat you as an outsider, and you don't treat me as an outsider," Grandma Wang said. "Hurry up and eat. I have already given the child a bath and you can take him indoors to rest." "Okay," He Tian Tian said, turning around and going to the kitchen. Huo Jekan has been working overtime, and his mother-in-law Zhang Lifang works the night shift. After He Tian Tian finished her meal, she went next door to keep the rice porridge warm in her father-in-law's rice cooker, and also used hot water to make sobering tea. When the mother-in-law works the night shift, it is usually Grandma Wang or He Tian Tian who does it. Run a home with heart and care for your family with heart. He Tian Tian was very busy these days, so Grandma Wang took over the housework at home. However, He Tian Tian will buy some vegetables or braised meat from outside and eat it directly at home. She only needs Grandma Wang to make rice or some seasonal vegetables. For the convenience of breakfast, He Tian Tian bought some good handmade noodles and kept them at home. In the morning, cook some vegetable noodles, add a few pieces of braised pork, side dishes, and poached eggs to complete a simple yet nutritious breakfast. At noon, He Tian Tian didn't come back for dinner, and Huo Jekan and Zhang Lifang didn't come for dinner either. Only Grandma Wang was at home with her two children for dinner. After school started, students participated in military training. He Tian Tian would go to the dormitory every noon to check on the students and ask if they had any difficulties. During the military training, He Tian Tian would also visit from time to time and pour Fenjujing and Huaxiang Genki water. Students who suffer from dizziness and heat stroke can use it to get a lot of relief. It took a week for He Tian's life to stabilize. When the weekend came, He Tian Tian took a rest, didn't go anywhere, and had a good sleep. Kui Ying, Huashan has started to open a shop. The shop has been rented and most of the renovations have been completed. Tian Tian, look, is the interior of the shop okay to be decorated like this? Kui Ying brought over some design drawings, all of which she made by herself. She studied painting from her father since she was a child, and all her drawings were drawn with a brush, as are her current design drawings. He Tian Tian was surprised and said, "Is this designed by Huashan?" "No, I designed it," Kui Ying said. "Look at the houses here, they are all old houses, and they are made of wood, so they only need a little renovation. As for the inside, we also follow the previous layout, but the inside the furniture, including antique shelves, are all modern furniture in a classical style, which not only makes the room brighter, but also allows you to display a lot of things." "Okay, you just have to figure it out," He Tian Tian said. "You are busy working in the antique shop all day long, and you don't have to do your own work." Kui Ying smiled and said nonchalantly, "I'm a Chinese student, and I wanted to go with Huashan at first. Now Huashan has resigned, and I don't want to work anymore. Anyway, Huashan usually has to go out to collect things, and in the shop I also need someone to look at the shop, so I just want to look at the shop, so I don't need to invite anyone. Are you willing to have such a good and well-established job?" He Tian Tian was even more curious. Huashan quit his job without hesitation when it came to doing business, and so did Kui Ying. What's the point of not giving up, Kui Ying said, it's quite boring to sort out the documents of those cultural relics every day. Whether you go out to open a shop or not, you have relatively free time, and you still have time to read. He Tian was a little puzzled and asked, logically speaking, wouldn't it be busier to open a shop? I only have 2 braised pork shops, and I am already very busy. Haha, I am in the antique business, not your braised meat shop. Kui Ying smiled thiefly. There is a saying in the jargon, if you don't open for 3 years, you will eat for 3 years after opening. That's how it is described, although it is not as good as the sentence. It's so cold, but it's definitely not the scene where guests come like clouds. Oh, there is a saying. He Tian nodded, okay, doing what you like is better than anything else. Besides, Huashan is so powerful, you don't have to work so hard to support your family. I think so too, Kui Ying said with a smile. I used to like reading, but I will have a lot of time to read in the future. Okay, I'm a teacher at our alma mater now. If you want to borrow books, you can use my library card. He Tian said that after graduation, she spent a lot less time reading, and read the most. It's a ledger. From now on, she will also calm down and read some books. That's great, Kui Ying said with a smile. Our alma mater is a century-old famous school. There are many classics in it that can't be seen outside. You have a library card as a teacher, so it should be easy to borrow. Kui Ying didn't expect it before, but now she knows it and is pleasantly surprised. While He Tian and Kui Ying were talking, Wu Yaoliang ran over with a sad and angry expression. Wu Yaoliang, what's wrong with you? He Tian's heart skipped a beat. Although Wu Yaoliang usually likes to joke, he is still a relatively stable person. If something big hadn't happened, he wouldn't have such an expression. Wu Yaoliang wiped the sweat from his forehead and said hurriedly, Jingli injured Lin Xiru and has been arrested by the dispatched people. Ah, He Tian was stunned. A fight started? Which police station was Sister Jingli taken to? How was Lin Xiru injured? Being taken to the Chinnan police station, Lin Xiru fell to the ground. I don't know what happened, but she was sent to the Municipal People's Hospital. Wu Yaoliang said, I got the notice from my mother and went to see Jingli, but was refused. He Tian thought for a while and said, Kui Ying, take Wu Yaoliang to Qin Li. Her uncle seems to be a captain from the Chinnan police station. He should be able to get more detailed information. I will go to the Municipal People's Hospital now to ask my mother-in-law, how is Lin Xiru injured? Is it real or fake? Kui Ying nodded and said, okay, I'll go there with Wu Yaoliang. Please, please, Wu Yaoliang said gratefully. When she encountered difficulties, having friends to help her made her anxious and angry heart feel warm. Well, let's all split up, He Tian said. After Wu Yaoliang and Kui Ying left, she talked to Grandma Wang about the matter, put on her dress, and went to the hospital to find her mother-in-law. He Tian was riding a bicycle, thinking about something in her mind, and she was a bit fast. She arrived at the hospital in less than 20 minutes. At this time, Zhang Lifang was seeing a doctor, and there was a long queue outside. He Tian had something urgent, so she didn't have to worry about it anymore and went directly into the consulting room. Zhang Lifang was startled, and when she saw it was He Tian, she winked at her and asked her to wait in the consulting room behind the curtain. After reading one patient, he paused and did not continue to call people in. Tian, what happened at home? Zhang Lifang asked. Today is Sunday, and the weather is very hot. Her daughter-in-law usually stays at home and does not come out. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 778. 776. I was in a hurry again today, something must have happened, and it wasn't a good thing. He Tian took a few deep breaths and said, Wu Yaliang came over just now and said that Sister Jingli had injured Lin Xiru. Now Sister Jingli is being held at the police station and Lin Xiru was sent to your hospital. I want to see how Lin Xiru's injury is. Yes. New injury or old injury? After Zhang Lifang heard this, she frowned and said, I've seen Huang Jingli before. She's not that aggressive. How could she take the initiative to hit Lin Xiru? Zhang Lifang had heard He Tian talk about the educated youths in Qijia village before, and knew about Huang Jingli's personality. Moreover, Huang Jingli often came to the house, so she became more familiar with them and understood them better. I don't know what it is for the time being, He Tian said. I'm worried that Lin Xiru was wronged and framed Sister Jingli. After all, Lin Xiru has done such a thing, and after Lin Xiru came to Nanji, she blackmailed her several times. If it doesn't work, something might have happened again. He Tian knew Huang Jingli's temperament. Although she kept saying that seeing Lin Xiru would make Lin Xiru look good, she couldn't do it if she really wanted her to hit someone without a reason. The matter has not been clarified yet, so you should not make any hasty decisions, Zhang Lifang said. Wait for me inside and I will ask. Thank you, Mom. He Tian thanked her, hoping that this matter could be resolved as soon as possible. He Tian didn't have the slightest fondness for Lin Xiru. Thinking about what Lin Xiru did to her before, He Tian now wanted to beat her up. About half an hour later, Zhang Lifang came back. Then Lin Xiru had a miscarriage, Zhang Lifang said, her face a little ugly, but judging from some of the scars and bruises on her body, they shouldn't be new injuries, so Huang Jingli probably didn't hit her. It's just that she insisted that Huang Jingli pushed her down, causing her to miscarry. He Tian smiled bitterly and said, I knew something would happen. If my guess is correct, Lin Xiru is not married and is pregnant out of wedlock. She probably doesn't want this child, but she wants to use this child to blackmail her. Whether this is the case, I haven't witnessed it with my own eyes, and I don't know, Zhang Lifang said. The hospital will give an objective injury report. Well, I understand, He Tian nodded. Then I'll go back first and ask what's going on. Zhang Lifang nodded and said, it's very hot outside. Be careful and don't get heat stroke. Thank you, Mom, I took note of it, He Tian said. Goodbye, Mom. After coming out of the hospital, He Tian rode a bicycle directly to the south of the city. When they arrived at the door of the police station, they saw Qin Li, Kui Ying and Wu Yaliang coming out. How's it going? He Tian asked. Is there something wrong with Sister Jingli? Wu Yaliang smiled bitterly and said, let's go home first. The three of them followed Wu Yaliang home. Wu's mother was taking care of her children at home and was very anxious. Yaliang, when can Jingli come out? Although Wu's mother is a diligent and strong old lady, she has never had anything to do with the police station in her life. She is very scared, fearing that her daughter-in-law will go to jail and the family will break up. Wu Yaliang shook his head and said, we are still investigating, but we met Jingli. She said she went out to buy groceries today and was blocked by Lin Xiru. The woman asked her for 2,000 yuan and threatened her if she didn't give it. Money, let Jingli go to jail. Jingli had been threatened a lot before, so she didn't take it to heart, so she quarreled with Lin Xiru. Jingli fought back, but she didn't use any force. But Lin Xiru fell to the ground, holding her belly, and seemed to say to save her child, and then Jingli grabbed her. After hearing this, Wu's mother swayed and almost fainted. He Tian quickly stepped forward, pinched the old lady's forehead, and said, Aunt Wu, something like this happened at home. Sister Jingli is not at home. Wu Yaliang has to take care of the children outside. You can only take care of the children at home. What will happen to this family if you fall again? Hearing He Tian's words, Mother Wu seemed to have figured it out. She took a few big breaths and said, You're right, I can't fall. Otherwise, this family will really be in chaos. Yul Yang, don't I will take good care of you and my family. Kui Ying thought for a while and said, Aunt Wu, do you know where Huang Jingli had friction with Lin Xiaoru? Mother Wu thought for a moment and said, it's just to the west of the vegetable market over there. There are a lot of people coming and going. He Tian thought for a while, if Lin Xiaoru wanted to steal stolen goods and frame the fault, she would definitely find a place with a lot of people. As long as she fainted and had a miscarriage, no matter whether Huang Jingli was unintentional or intentional, she would not be able to get away with it. Then can we find witnesses nearby? He Tian asked, looking for those nearby can prove that it was Lin Xiaoru who entangled Sister Jingli, not Sister Jingli who deliberately hurt Lin Xiaoru. Mother Wu smiled bitterly and said, with so many people coming and going, I don't know who has seen the real situation. At this time, Aunt Cai came over. When she heard about the Wu family, she immediately patted her chest and said, I'm familiar with this area. I'll go and ask from door to door for you. Maybe someone really saw it. There are witnesses. No, you can wrong the good people, but you can't let the bad people go. Old sister, thank you so much, Mother Wu said gratefully. She usually helps the Cai family, and Miss Cai is helping the family again. You're welcome, Aunt Cai said, this is a matter for our neighborhood. I'll go find someone from the street office and investigate with me. This will also show our fairness. When everyone heard this, they all admired Aunt Cai for her shrewdness. Aunt Wu, Wu Yaoliang, don't worry. Sister Jingli is only temporarily detained. I told my second uncle that the people inside will not embarrass Sister Jingli, Qin Li said. She had heard that Lin Xiaoru was too much before, but she didn't expect that after so much time, this woman was still haunting her. Huang Jingli was also unlucky to be entangled by such a person. Thank you, you sit down first, I'll go cook, Mother Wu said, and was about to get up to cook. He Tian asked Mother Wu to finish, and said, Aunt Wu, you take a rest, the three of us will do it. By the way, Tian, you go to the hospital, what do they say? Kui Ying asked, and Cai came over just now and forgot to ask He Tian. Here's what happened. I went to see my mother-in-law. The doctor at the hospital has already done a medical report on Lin Xiaoru. The bruises were not caused today, but the miscarriage was indeed caused by the fall, He Tian said in a deep voice, and Lin Xiaoru insisted in the hospital that it was Sister Jingli who pushed her and caused her miscarriage. Mother Wu cried when she heard this, and choked up and said, this was definitely not Jingli's intention. She's a grown girl, who knew she was pregnant. Besides, if she was pregnant, why would she provoke Jingli? The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 779. 777. Everyone is also thinking about this issue. Qin Li thought for a while and said, now we have to do two things. One is to find the witnesses of that day to prove Sister Jingli's innocence, the other is to find out what Lin Xiaoru wants. What do you want? He Tian sneered, there are only two possibilities. The first is to take revenge on Sister Jingli, the second is for money. However, revenge on Sister Jingli makes Sister Jingli go to jail, and she has to if there are no benefits. I guess the second possibility is that he wants money. When everyone heard this, they were convinced. Wu Yaoliang nodded and said, I also think it might be for money. If it's for money, then it's easy. Just give her money. Wu's mother choked and wanted to get this matter over with as soon as possible to prevent her daughter-in-law from being wronged at the police station. The other people were silent and looked at each other. If they gave it once, they would give it countless times in the future. Lin Xiaoru will continue to blackmail people in the same way. Hey, let's go our separate ways first, Wu Yaoliang said. It wasn't that he couldn't bear the money, but it was too disgusting. Anyway, ever since Lin Xiaoru appeared, there has been no peace in the family. Although Huang Jingli's mother-in-law is annoying, they at least want to be shameless, but Lin Xiru is a shameless existence and will do anything to achieve her goal. Yes, He Tian and others nodded, casually made some food for Wu's mother and child, and then left. When I went home in the evening, Zhang Lifang also got off work. "What's going on?" Zhang Lifang asked, also wanting to know what was going on. Lin Xiru was a shrewd person and had to be careful. This time, she can bully Huang Jingli, and when the benefits are big enough, she will also deal with the Huo family. After all, her daughter-in-law and she had some issues before. In fact, not necessarily. As long as it can bring benefits to Lin Xiru will not care whether there is a holiday or not. In the morning, after He Tian left the hospital, Zhang Lifang asked the person who was protecting her in the dark to investigate Lin Xiru's past and this incident. Although the time was short and there was no detailed information, we got some general information about Lin Xiru. In Kijia village, let's not talk about it. But in Nanji, Lin Xiru had maintained unclear relationships with no less than 10 men. At the same time, she found out that Lin Xiru's purpose this time was to extort money for abortion. This is what happened. He Tian told Zhang Lifang everything she saw and heard today to see if she could find any favorable witnesses tomorrow. After hearing this, Zhang Lifang sighed, this Lin Xiru is just a piece of meat, and she is very scheming. It won't be easy for Huang Jingli to be nice this time, and it will probably cost a lot of money. Mom, do you think so too? He Tian asked. According to previous analysis, everyone thought Lin Xiru was trying to extort money. Yes, Zhang Lifang said, this woman probably made this move because Huang Jingru was easy to bully and her family still had money. It's okay to give money this time, but who can guarantee that Lin Xiru will restrain herself in the future? Hey, He Tian sighed, it stands to reason that Lin Xiru and I have a bigger feud. If you want to cause trouble, you will come to me for trouble. But people are bullies and shy of the strong. If she knows that she will come to me to cause trouble, I will definitely let her. She can't bear to walk away. Not only my ability, but also the power of the Huo family are not something she can shake. If one day, Lin Xiru has enough capital or interests, she will not hesitate to come. I'm in trouble. That's a woman who knows how to judge and is also a ruthless person. It was rare that her daughter-in-law could see this, and Zhang Lifang felt less worried. It's good to have a sense of urgency. Yes, this matter must be investigated clearly, and Lin Xiru cannot be allowed to succeed, Zhang Lifang said, but Lin Xiru really aborted the child and will be sympathized with, so your classmate will probably have to pay no matter what. Do you have to pay even if you are wronged? He Tian frowned, how could there be such a law? Yes, it's just a matter of more money and less money, Zhang Lifang said, you are quite busy at this time. I will send someone to investigate, so don't worry and work with peace of mind. He Tiandian nodded and said, that's today. I have to go to work tomorrow and I really won't be free. Then I can only ask my mother to help me investigate. Yes, I will, Zhang Lifang said, the food is ready, hurry up and eat. Zhang Lifang and He Tian are discussing here. When Kui Ying returns home, she will tell Huashan about this matter. After hearing the whole story, Huashan finally shook his head and laughed, saying, the day before yesterday, I saw Li Mingkai and Lin Xiru arguing in the street. But I didn't have a good relationship with them, so I didn't get involved. Then Li Mingkai is a man, and he actually did it. Hit women. Did Li Mingkai really hook up with Lin Xiru? Kui Ying asked. The last time she saw them, the two just talked and didn't act too ambiguously. Yeah, I guess that child is also Li Mingkai's, Huashan said. Li Mingkai probably didn't want to take responsibility. Then Lin Xiru refused to let him go, so he started fighting. Responsible? Kui Ying sneered, how charming does Lin Xiru think she is, that she can make Li Mingkai responsible? That man did a lot of scumbag things in Kijia village just to get benefits. Lin Xiru can't lead him when there is enough profit, you will never be responsible. Yes, Huashan said, and she had a miscarriage. Even if we find witnesses to Lin Xiru's trouble today, Huang Jingli and Wu Yaoliang will still have to pay, but they will pay less. Huashan's view is the same as Zhang Lifang's. Haha, isn't there a way to treat someone like Lin Xiru? Kui Ying said scornfully. If she didn't cause trouble for her, she would come over to make trouble for her. If he fought back, she would pretend to be stupid and blackmail her. Shameless. Huashan smiled and said thiefly, in fact, it is easy to deal with Lin Xiru. Huang Jingli doesn't need to come forward. As long as they write an anonymous letter to Li Mingkai's wife Qi Zhenzhen, the woman will punish Lin Xiru well. Besides, it's not if there are no sentient beings, then Li Mingkai and Lin Xiru are indeed related, so he is not wronged. Yes, even if Li Mingkai is not the mastermind of this matter, he is still an accomplice, Kui Ying said with a smile. Tomorrow I will tell Wu Yaoliang and let him do it. The reason why Kui Ying did not do it was because there was no causal relationship between her and Li Mingkai and Lin Xiru, and doing so would only increase the number of complications. Every injustice has its owner, and every debt has its owner. Wu Yaoliang and Huang Jingli can do it blatantly, because the causes planted by Lin Xiru and Li Mingkai also want to taste the fruits that grow. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 780. 778. After a day or two, Aunt Cai was also capable. She and Director Liu of the sub-district office found a few witnesses who proved that Lin Xiru made the first move and Huang Jingli fought back, which was a legitimate defense. Aunt Cai and Director Liu took several neighbors to the police station and explained the situation. Several neighborhood women are also straight-tempered. I think they were famous March 8 red flag bearers back then. They are very capable and cannot tolerate sand in their eyes. Now that I am older and retired, I take care of my grandchildren at home, buy groceries, and cook. Seeing such a situation, you will naturally roar when you see injustice. The police at the police station held a meeting to discuss and set the basic tone. Huang Jingli acted in self-defense, but if Lin Xiru was seriously injured and lost her child, Huang Jingli must also make some compensation. When Huang Jingli heard this result, she was so angry that she burst into tears. How can there be such shameless people in the world? Huang Jingli said, what kind of world is this? If you are bullied, you can't resist. Qin Li's uncle looked a little embarrassed after hearing this, but thinking of his niece at home, he could only say softly, Huang Jingli, some things are not as right and wrong as you think. This is how it is at our police station. If you deal with it, you will appeal, and it will probably be the same when the time comes. Lin Xiru is hateful, but she is the victim after all, and you are suspected of over-defense. Huang Jingli wiped her tears and said, thank you, Officer Qin, I took note of it. She said this, but Huang Jingli didn't think so in her heart. Lin Xiru did such hateful things again and again. Huang Jingli didn't bother to use those despicable means to fight back. Even if she wanted to beat Lin Xiru, she would do it openly. As a result, this woman was actually pregnant and used the child in her belly to extort money. Huang Jingli had a cold and contemptuous smile on her lips. If Lin Xiru didn't cherish life, then he would curse Lin Xiru to never have children. Haha, despicable means, I just didn't bother to use them before. Now, she doesn't think so anymore. To deal with despicable people, be even more despicable than her. Then didn't Lin Xiru get together with Li Mingkai? Maybe the child in Lin Xiru's belly is Li Mingkai's. In this case, Huang Jingli will not show mercy. There is no need to think about it yourself. Huang Jingli can get several methods by thinking directly from Lin Xiru. An anonymous letter is nothing more than an envelope and a stamp. Huang Jingli and Huashan thought of the same way, which was to use their strength to fight. Now that Lin Xiru is sure of her, Huang Jingli has no intention of confronting Lin Xiru head-on. After all, she is not afraid of wearing shoes when she is barefoot. Lin Xiru was living in such a miserable state, and Huang Jingli was not willing to use her happiness to go head-to-head with a rag like Lin Xiru. She didn't bother to do it, but someone was willing to do it. Qi Zhenzhen, Li Mingkai's real wife, is confident and even more fearless than Lin Xiru. Okay, I agree, Huang Jingli nodded. Qin Li's uncle would not exaggerate to scare her. This is the best result now. It's good if you can figure it out, Officer Qin said. Medical expenses, necessary nutritional expenses, and other unreasonable requests were also rejected by us. Thank you. Huang Jingli thanked her via phone and said she would go out first. She had just joined the workforce and could not be locked up for a long time. Otherwise, if it was not her fault, outsiders would think it was her fault. The medical fee is 270 yuan, and the nutrition fee is 100 yuan, a total of 370 yuan. This is very different from the 2000 yuan that Lin Xiru expected. No, I want to appeal. I want to sue Huang Jingli for intentional murder, Lin Xiru yelled in the ward. You favor Huang Jingli. Officer Chen put all the information on the table and said, there are many witnesses who prove that you did it that day and it was self-defense. They are willing to pay for medical expenses and nutritional expenses because you lost your child. Furthermore, you know that you are pregnant and you still take the initiative to fight with others. Only you know the reason. If you are not satisfied with the decision, you can continue to appeal. Lin Xiru was heartbroken. She didn't expect that Huang Jingli would grow up so quickly that she couldn't afford to offend him. From the first time I asked for money, I didn't get it, until this time. Every time it was not according to her ideas, nor was it the result she wanted. No, I want to appeal, Lin Xiru shouted. Officer Qin said, this is your freedom. After saying that, he left. After everyone left, Lin Xiru fell into deep thought. If you appeal, you still don't know the year of the monkey and the month of the horse. Now that school is about to start, she still has to go to school, so she can't stay in the hospital forever. In the end, Lin Xiru could only agree, stayed in the hospital for a week and was discharged, and received 100 yuan. Looking at the 10 sheets of unity in his hand, it was a bit ridiculous. Then Li Mingkai didn't come to visit her. What a cruel person. Haha, since Li Mingkai dared to bully her like this, Lin Xiru would not let him go. However, the more she hates a person, the closer she will get to that person so that she can teach him a lesson and retaliate. For example, Huang Jingli, such as Li Mingkai next. After Huang Jingli came out, Wu's mother lit a brazier at the door to get rid of bad luck. It'll be good to come back, it'll be good to come back, Mother Wu said while choking. Huang Jingli hugged Wu's mother and said, Mom, I made you worried. It's good that you're fine. Those who kill 1,000 people will not end well, Mother Wu cursed. As long as our family is well, spending a little money is nothing. At night, Huang Jingli tossed and turned and couldn't sleep. Jingli, why don't you sleep? Wu Yaoliang turned sideways and asked softly. Can't sleep, Huang Jingli said, feeling depressed. It's just a little money. We can still make it in the future, so don't feel bad, Wu Yaoliang said, comforting his wife that their family was law-abiding and good people, and they couldn't do such shameless things. Huang Jingli sat up, put on a piece of clothing, and said without daring to turn on the light, I don't feel sorry for the money, I just can't swallow this breath. This time I am going to treat others the way they want. I want to revenge against Lin Xiru. Ah, Jingli, then Lin Xiru is a piece of shit, you can't let it go. Wu Yaoliang is worried that if Huang Jingli goes to Lin Xiru desperately, then he will not lose a little money, and he will have no wife in the future, and the child will have no mother. Haha, Huang Jingli smiled, I won't do stupid things, that's what I think. Huang Jingli expressed her thoughts, hoping to get her husband's support. Wu Yaoliang's eyes lit up after hearing this, and he said, "Just do it. If we don't come forward, we can learn from Lin Xiru and do harm behind the scenes. You don't have to do this. I'll write and send a letter." "Use your left hand," Huang Jingli said, "don't let others see the handwriting." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 781. 779. The couple discussed a method, and it was very effective, and they finally fell asleep. When Kui Ying told Huang Jingli the method, Huang Jingli smiled and said, "Thank you, Kui Ying, I also thought of this method and am already doing it." When dealing with despicable people, you cannot use normal methods. You must even more despicable than her. "Haha, I should have done this a long time ago," Kui Ying said with a smile. "Stay far away from Lin Xiru when you see her in the future. That woman is a scoundrel and a cutter." "I will," Huang Jingli said, "thank you for taking care of our family when I was away." "You're welcome, we are all friends," Kui Ying smiled. "Okay, I won't disturb you and go to work, I have to go to the shop too." "Oh, you really resigned?" Huang Jingli didn't believe it. "I thought you were just talking." "Yeah, I don't like working there either. I'm sluggish, but I still like to open a shop," Kui Ying said. "Don't worry, I will definitely make you money, and I won't let you lose money." "Don't be too stressed," Huang Jingli said with relief. "Doing business is not that easy." "Well, I'm leaving then." Kui Ying left. There were still many things going on in the shop. Now Huashan has gone downstairs to collect things. He has indeed collected some real things in the past few days in preparation for opening the store. Kui Ying is responsible for keeping an eye on the store decoration, which will be completed in 3 or 2 days, and the store can be opened this weekend. When Huang Jingli went to work, she received strange looks from everyone. People who usually had a good relationship with her distanced themselves from her. The boss who appreciated her in the past also turned a blind eye to her. For half a month. Only then did Huang Jingli find out that Huang Jingli's daily newspaper had received a letter of report saying that Huang Jingli had aborted a person. That man is not tired of writing 1 letter a day. Haha, Lin Xiru. Huang Jingli couldn't control that much, so she sent reports to Lin Xiru's school 1 letter a day. In the past, Huang Jingli had to do a lot of work every day, but now everyone unconsciously isolates her. Huang Jingli wanted to explain, but with little success. Here, Huang Jingli is not happy. Thinking of this, Huang Jingli also had the idea of resigning. Although the daily newspaper office is said to be an iron rice bowl, the salary of only 100 yuan a month is not enough for the father-in-law at home to earn in a day. Furthermore, if you don't feel happy doing it, don't do it. Even if she changes to another unit, Lin Xiru will continue to write reports like a tarsal maggot. Because the cost is very low, it requires Huang Jingli to spend a lot of energy to calm down. At the same time, she also envied Kui Ying and He Tian who could do what she wanted. After figuring it out, Huang Jingli went home to discuss it with Wu Yaoliang. Although Wu Yaoliang felt it was a pity, such a situation was indeed difficult to deal with. Moreover, his wife was not happy with what she was doing. He nodded and said, "If you are unhappy, don't do it. Our family is not short of money. You and my mother can take care of it together, child. My mother-in-law takes care of the children, and we do business with my father-in-law. My father-in-law is the only one in our family. He is so old and it is too hard. I want to help him." Wu Yaoliang nodded and said, "That's okay. Thank you, Yaoliang," Huang Jingli said. "You are my wife, you don't need to say thank you to me, As long as you are happy. Wu Yaoliang hugged his wife and comforted her. When Wu's father came back from the countryside and the family had dinner, Wu Yaoliang took the opportunity to talk about this matter. Then the past few years have not gone to college in vain. Wu's father felt it was a pity. After all, only outstanding people can go to college. Huang Jingli smiled and said, actually, it's not all in vain. Didn't I meet Wu Yaoliang through college? I have such a good family like you. I also have a few good friends. Haha, Wu's mother was happy after hearing this. That's true. If Jingli doesn't go to college, my son won't be able to find such a good wife. Old man, those shabby units, since they are not happy with their work, don't. If you do, our good daughter-in-law will not be bullied there. It happens that Jingli is taking care of the children in the city to help you take care of the business here. I will go back to my hometown and continue to raise ducks, chickens, and pigs. The money I make in a year is more than there are more than two of them. Although Wu's mother was telling the truth, Wu Yaoliang and Huang Jingli's ears still had mixed feelings. Wu's father thought about it. In the past 2 years, the food, drink, and clothing at home were indeed not as good as before. It would be better to let his old wife go back with him. Okay, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Our family doesn't lack that little money, as long as our family can be safe, Wu's father said without continuing. He also worked in government agencies before and knew what was going on inside. Winding roads. Huang Jingli was very happy when her parents-in-law agreed. In the evening, the couple discussed in private. Jingli, actually I also want to resign, Wu Yaoliang said. I want you and your parents to live a life of masters, but if you stay in the research institute, even if I work hard to climb up, it will take 20 years. Time. You and your children may still be able to enjoy the fruits of my efforts, but my parents may not, so I also want to go into business. Huang Jingli was stunned and said, actually, doing business is not that easy. If you have a good project, you can do it. Look at Tian Tian, she has a secret recipe for braised pork, and her business is booming. Huashan can identify jewelry, so she can open an antique shop. One of us is a writer and the other is a chemist. We don't have any special skills. Wu Yaoliang said, I have a unique skill. Last time I saw the solar water heater made by Huo Yingzhe. It can be used all year round, except that it cannot be used in winter. It can be used in the other 3 seasons. Do you know how much Huo Yingzhe spent on those 2 solar panels? Huang Jingli asked. It's a full 10,000 yuan. Will ordinary families buy such expensive things? It's too expensive, and no one will buy it. But I have developed some alternative materials, which are very cheap. I think they can be purchased for 1,000 pieces, Wu Yaoliang said, and I can also design some other supporting equipment to reduce the costs. Some costs can be reduced to 500. We sell it for 1,000 and have hot water 3.5 seasons a year, so many families will definitely buy it. Huang Jingli's eyes lit up and she said, it is indeed a good project. If you are interested, you can continue to study it. Our family makes money from business, so we can buy you some materials. If the conditions are ripe, we will build a factory. We have no money. You can find investment. Yeah, I think so too, Wu Yaoliang said. Lin Xiru's actions not only failed to defeat Huang Jingli, but gave her the determination to resign. He Tian heard about Huang Jingli's actions, nodded and said, well, actually this is good, as long as you feel comfortable. Shutten, Huang Jingli said, by the way, Tian, Yaoliang was inspired by the solar water heater made by Huo Yingzhe. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 782. 780. Because it involves Huo Yingzhe's research results, Huang Jingli wants to talk to He Tian. He Tian was stunned and thought of the solar energy used by every household in later generations, especially in rural areas and urban rural fringe areas. Because the houses are relatively short and bungalows, they are more suitable for solar water heaters. It is indeed a very good project. Very good. As long as Wu Yaliang can reduce the cost and the quality is good, I will invest, He Tian promised immediately. Her grandmother gave her a passbook before leaving, but there has been no good investment project. Well, Yu Liang said it's possible, but it just takes time, Huang Jingli said, longing for the idea of opening a factory. He Tian thought for a while and said, if there is something missing that you can't get, you can tell me and I will ask someone to help you find it. I won't be polite to you, Huang Jingli said with a smile. By the way, Tian, you have a bright mind. Think about it again, is there anything that needs to be improved? He Tian thought for a while. In the early days when solar energy was not common, how could bathing conditions be improved in rural areas? When you mention it like that, I really have some ideas, He Tian said. I heard that black absorbs heat. Is it possible to make a simple plastic water bag? Fill it with water and let it dry in the sun during the day. It will be dark at night. It's quite hot and you can take a shower. This is no different from the big basin of water at home, Huang Jingli said. Does anyone buy it? It's different. The water in the big basin becomes a little cold after the sun goes down. But the water in the special plastic water bag is still warm even late at night. The water bag is placed directly on the roof. Connect the tap water, then pull a pipe and connect it to the bathroom. This is a simple solar energy. This is more economical than Wu Yaliang's improved solar energy. You can do this at the beginning, and when someone imitates it, our improved solar energy will be used. It can also be promoted and launched. Plastic water bags are cheap, so who would buy a solar water heater? Huang Jingli disagreed, feeling that the gain outweighed the loss. He Tian smiled and said, think about it, that kind of water bag can only be used in summer, but solar energy can be used as long as there is sunshine and it does not freeze, and the water capacity is large, which is much better than a water bag. But the price is high, which complements the water bag. If those who buy water bags like the convenience of showering and realize the shortcomings, then a new product can make up for the shortcomings. If they have money, they will have a lot of money. Maybe buy a solar water heater. Huang Jingli thought about it carefully, nodded and said, listening to your explanation, it does make sense. I will talk to Yaliang when I get back. Since Huang Jingli resigned, she has become more free than before. Most of them take care of their children at home. Sometimes when her father-in-law comes to Nanji, she also goes to help, and sometimes she goes back to her hometown. Huang Jingli did most of the things in Nanji, which made Wu's father feel much more relaxed. Wu Yaliang heard He Tian's suggestion from his wife and thought it was good. He began to research this kind of plastic product that can absorb more heat quickly but dissipate less heat slowly. Huashan Antique Shop can finally open its doors. He Tian, Huang Jingli, and Qin Li, 3 antiques, bought flower baskets and came to congratulate them. When the auspicious time came, I set off the firecrackers and lifted the red cloth on the plaque. I was slightly stunned when I saw 3 Phoenix residents written on the plaque. But it doesn't matter if you think about it. People nearby are proud of the Sanfan Bridge that has stood for hundreds of years. For example, her braised pork restaurant is named after Sanfan Bridge. This Sanfanju is not bad either. After entering the shop, He Tian, Huang Jingli, and Qin Li were stunned for a while, looking at the antiques on the antique shelves in the shop. Huashan, you are so amazing. You have received so many antiques in such a short period of time, He Tian praised, which shows that Huashan has put in a lot of effort. Huashan smiled and said, most of them were collected from various places, and some were brought back from shopping, but they are all real. This room sells serious antiques, and the one next door sells some modern craftsmanship jade pendants. I bought this jade jewelry from a supplier. The price may be a bit more expensive than the place of origin, but the workmanship and variety are pretty good. I checked them piece by piece and there is nothing wrong with them. Well, yes, these jade articles look good, Huang Jingli said, they are no worse than what she wears on her wrist. Qin Li looked at it and said, those jade bracelets are so beautiful. I want to buy a pair for my mother. Kui Ying smiled and said, okay, we have a good opening today. You are our own people. I will sell it to you 1 yuan more than the purchase price. Why do you need an extra piece? Qin Li was curious, is it special? I guess your order is the first one to open the door. If you don't make a penny, it's unlucky, Kui Ying said with a smile. Come on, this jade is actually really good. It's all selected one by Huashan. It's of absolute quality, excellent. Hearing what you said, I want to buy it too. He Tian smiled and said, my grandma Wang's birthday is coming soon, and I am about to give her a gift. A jade bracelet is the best. Huang Jingli thought for a while and said, I will buy a pair of jade pendants for my father-in-law and mother-in-law. Okay, you go to the front, you are the customers of our shop, let those who are watching the excitement take a look, and we will promote it at that time, Kui Ying said with a smile, letting them choose by themselves. He Tian, Huang Jingli, and Qin Li all bought something they liked. Some people walked around inside and felt that the price was reasonable, so they also bought some small pieces of jade. As for antiques, Huashan is watching over there, but there are many people looking at them and few buying them. At noon, 2 employees, Huashan and Kui Ying, were left to take everyone to dinner to congratulate them on the successful opening today. After dinner, He Tian, Huang Jingli and Qin Li went shopping. Kui Ying could only continue to visit the store. Who made her the boss's wife? He Tian took a box and put it in the drawer. She would go to the pastry shop to order a cake tomorrow night and wait for her parents-in-law to come back tomorrow night to celebrate Grandma Wang's birthday. The next morning, while He Tian was having breakfast, she secretly told her father-in-law and mother-in-law to go home early in the evening and celebrate Grandma Wang's birthday together. After that, He Tian passed by the shop at work, ordered a 12-inch cake, and came to pick it up in the evening. In the afternoon, He Tian had no classes, so she went home and picked up cakes and braised pork. He Tian started preparing meals, and Zhang Lifang and Huo Jekan also came back earlier than usual. Aunt Wang, these are the autumn clothes I bought for you, Zhang Lifang said, taking out the clothes from her bag. Aunt Wang, try it on, if it doesn't fit I will change it for you. I have clothes, why am I wasting money? Aunt Wang said angrily, but her face was still very happy. I can't buy them again in the future. I don't usually buy it. Today is your birthday. This is your birthday gift, Zhang Lifang said, don't refuse.